welcome to another Lawn Fawn video. Today we are introducing our new set, Beep Boop Birthday. I love these little robots. They are so cute, and the coordinating dies makes them super easy to use on all sorts of cards and projects. So let's go ahead and stamp it out. Here we have our first style of robot and the second style. There are some great elements that you can add to the robots, like this bow tie, a wind-up key, a heart, and then we have the elements that make these robots birthday themed. We have this great cupcake, which fits right in his hand, a fun present, and this awesome balloon, and then this great balloon string, which you can stamp on the balloon, or you can stamp it separately to cut it out with the die. Then we have these great gear shapes in different sizes and styles. They are perfect for creating your own backgrounds for the robots. We have this great little burst here, which I like to put around the robots to make them look excited. And then we have some awesome square word bubbles that go along really well with the great square balloon. Because the lines are so delicate in these word bubbles, I make sure that I have a really light touch, and that way it gets a really crisp image. We have some great sentiments that fit inside the word bubbles in this really cool font. We have hello. We have this great gear up for, which is a fun pun. And then you could stamp out happy birthday there, beep boop birthday. You can kind of then combine all of these other sentiments afterwards. So I thought it would be fun to stamp out the beep boop birthday here. So cute. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp the happy birthday in the word bubble. And last but not least, we have our exclamation point that you could add to the end of your phrases or not. So let's go ahead and add some color to these fun images. Now here are the coordinating dies for this set, and all you need to do to separate them is just bend the pieces apart just like this. And then all you need to do is take the die and line it up with the outside edge of the stamped image just like this. And then we can go ahead and run it through our die cut machine. So here are all of the items die cut, and I wanted to show you how some of the dies work really well without the stamps too. These two in particular, I think the word bubbles look really cool with or without the stamped image, and the gears are pretty fun, and the balloon is pretty cool too, the square balloon, so I love that you can do that. I also love how all of these cool little accessories can be added. So for example, you can add the cute little turnkey there to this robot. You can go ahead and dress up and make her a little girly robot like this. I love that this set can be masculine and feminine too. And then I also love taking the cupcake and the presents and putting that in their little hands, which I think is really sweet for birthdays. So I'm starting off here with a card base that is 3 inches wide by 9 3/4 inches tall. And I'm going to go ahead and make a mark at 4 7/8, which is the height for a 4-bar card right there, right in the center using my ruler. And then I can go ahead and make a light pencil line right in the center of the card. And this is going to be the guide for something that we're going to stamp out. So right here, I'm just going to go ahead and erase a little portion of the line because I'm going to stamp there and I don't want the pencil to get trapped underneath the ink. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that portion. And then I can start stamping my cool square balloon. I'm going to stamp part of it above the line and part of it below. And because I would like it to be really bold, I'm going to go ahead and stamp over it a second time, and that's going to give it an even darker, bolder look. Now I'm going to take the coordinating die from the set and line it up with my balloon and secure it in place with some low tack tape. we're going to do some partial die cutting, and using the pencil line we created earlier, that's going to tell us where to cut. I only want the die to cut above that line, so I'm going to line up that pencil line right with the end of my bottom plate on my die cut machine, and then I'm going to use some more tape to hold my card in place so I make sure I'm die cutting exactly where I want. Then I can go ahead and put the plate on top, and because there's only one section of the die that has two plates over it, that's the only section that's going to cut. Then I can run it through my die cut machine just like I would normally. And you're going to see here how cool, where it just die cut above the line. I'm going to go ahead and remove my die, and then now I'm going to take my scoreboard and use that pencil line as a guide as to where I would like to score. Now when I'm scoring, I want to make sure that I score everywhere but the die cut balloon. So you can see I'm going to score right up to it, then I'm going to skip the balloon area and score right after where that cut mark is, all the way to the base of the card. And you're going to see once we score it and pick up the card, actually first we have to make sure we erase the pencil line. It's a lot easier to erase it before you fold it. And then now once it's folded, it appears as if the balloon is floating right off the top of the card. I just love that look. Now right here, I'm just stamping a bunch of balloons. I'm using the same technique where I'm stamping it once and then stamping it a second time where I put the ink on top of it again. And that's so that I can get two colors out of every ink pad that I had. At first I was thinking I was going to use a ton of balloons on this card. I ended up not doing that, but I can save these for later, which is great. But you can see now I have two shades out of every ink pad, which gives me a really cool kind of ombre look. And then I'll go ahead and die cut my balloons. Now I'm starting to play around with the layout of the card, just kind of using a bunch of the die cut balloons, and this is where I decided that just 3 balloons was going to be plenty. And right here I cut a piece of 3" by 3 1/4" inch gray cardstock to serve as the ground for the balloon. Now I want that balloon that we stamped directly on the cardstock to be looking like it's really far away. So we're going to start popping everything up on foam adhesive. But first I decided that my balloons needed some pretty gray strings, so I stamped them out and I'm using the die to create some strings for my 2 balloons. And then I'm going to stamp a string in the same gray directly on the cardstock. I don't want the string to be that long, so I went ahead and just stamped part of the stamp. Then I'm laying my piece of cardstock there down with some foam adhesive, and my little robot there has some foam adhesive too. And then I'm running some tape runner on the back of my balloon, and that's how I'm going to glue the strings down to the balloons. And then here I have 1 foam adhesive on that lighter blue balloon, and on the darker blue balloon I put 2. And that's to really give a lot of dimension and really make it look like that other balloon is flying far away in the background. And I think it looks pretty cool. It's a really fun dimension, especially in person. Now I'm stamping the happy birthday sentiment. And then now I'm going to do something a little bit different for the base. I have a 3 1/2" inch by 4 7/8" inch tall piece of navy cardstock, and I'm actually going to glue it to the back of this card just to create some more color and some more pop for the card, and I think it's kind of a cool way for it to open. So here I'm taking all of those cool little gears and I'm placing them randomly on my block, and I'm going to do some tone-on-tone stamping to create my own custom gear pattern paper, which I thought would be really cool for this very simple masculine card. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp a bunch of the gears and fill those all in, and then I'm going to put adhesive on the back of the card, making sure to avoid the area there with the partially die cut balloon so that it'll still open well. And then I can go ahead and adhere that on top of the blue cardstock. I had a little bit of extra there. I didn't measure this whole thing, I guess, very well, so I just trimmed off that little extra piece. But I'm going to use the extra piece as kind of like a little pinstripe on the gray ground. I thought it would add just a little more interest. This is a really simple card for me. Masculine's always hard for me because I really like bright colors and I really like glitter, but I really wanted to keep it simple and clean and something I know that any guy would love. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim off that little end there of my navy piece. And my super clean and simple masculine card is all done. I love that it opens in kind of a cool way. I think that guys really like that with cards, and it's a really fun technique and a cool way to use your dies. So this is Beep Boop Birthday. I love these fun robots. You could really use them for any occasion, but they're really great for birthday because of the cool square balloon and fun elements that are included in the set. I love using the dies. It makes things so much easier, and I think it's so cool that you can even use the dies without the stamps and get a really cool look that way too. Here I use the gears to create my own custom pattern paper, but you could also make the gears more the star of the show by using the dies with them. I love that you can make this set masculine, just like we did with this card, or feminine by coloring the robots in feminine colors, and then, for example, adding the little bow to the top. I think that would be really sweet. These balloons are great for birthday, but also you can do things like add the cupcake into the robot's hand, and that's a really fun way to create a birthday look too. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye!